All right, let's talk about maybe the biggest puzzle in music history. We're talking about a song that, yeah, we all know it, we can all hum it, but how many of us actually understand it? It's one of the most famous pieces of art ever made, and it's still a complete and total riddle.
I mean, that's the big one, right? What is this song actually about? For 50 years, that single question has fueled endless arguments and some pretty out there theories. So today, we're gonna tear it all down, the music, the lyrics, the artwork, and see if we can finally crack the code.
You know, the thing is, the deeper you dig into Stairway, the more you realize this was no accident. This song is a meticulously built machine, a cultural artifact that was designed from the ground up to be packed with hidden meanings and structural genius.
So what is it? Some grand spiritual journey? A takedown of modern life? Or is it just a bunch of beautiful words that don't really mean anything? People have argued for all of them, but what if the answer is all of the above? And what if that's the whole point?
To really get to the bottom of this, we've got to start with the music itself. Because the first, and maybe the most radical thing about Stairway to Heaven is how it completely throws the rulebook out the window.
See, back then, there was this simple, unwritten rule in rock and roll. You find a good beat, a good groove, and you lock into it. The #1 rule was, you just don't change the tempo.
But Jimmy Page? Nah, he had a totally different idea. His whole mission was to create a song that just keeps building, that speeds up, that gets more and more intense. He was taking a concept straight out of classical music and dropping it right into a rock song. For him, that constant acceleration was everything.
And the way he pulls it off is just incredible. He makes you wait for 4 minutes and 18 seconds for those thunderous drums from John Bonham. That's more than halfway through the song. That kind of patience, that slow burn, is what makes that final moment feel so huge. But the genius, it's like a Russian doll. It just keeps going deeper. He basically built this emotional engine by switching between 2 key chords. You get the uplifter chord, and suddenly there's this rush of hope. Then the letdown chord hits and brings you right back down to earth. That constant push and pull is the sound of a search. It's brilliant.
So you've got this slow, meticulous build, this rising tension, and then bam, it all explodes in that legendary guitar solo. And Page, he didn't mince words about it. He just said it straight up. After 8 minutes of building it up, the release is like an orgasm. It's designed to be a totally primal, physical experience.
Okay, so the music is a masterpiece of design. But what about the lyrics? For so long, everyone just kind of wrote them off as, beautiful but vague poetry. But if you really look, they're not random at all. They're telling a very specific story.
The key to unlocking it all? It's these 3 core symbols: the lady, the 2 paths, and the songbird. Once you get these, the entire lyrical journey just snaps into focus. It's like a 3-act play.
Okay, so it all starts with one of the most famous lines in music history, right? There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold. But here's the thing, the lady, she's not a real person. She's a symbol. Think of her as representing anyone who's so caught up in consumer culture that they think they can just buy their way into heaven. It's a pretty sharp critique of materialism, and it's right there in the opening verse.
But the song doesn't just critique, it offers a way out. That's where the 2 paths come in. It's this beautiful message of hope, that you can always choose a different road. And that road leads toward the songbird, which is all about getting back to something more natural, more spiritual, and just listening.
And this is where it gets really wild. The story doesn't end with the song. Led Zeppelin wove this whole philosophy right into the album artwork, which was this whole other puzzle box for fans to figure out. I mean, just think about it for a second. This massive album drops with no title on the cover, not even the band's name. You open it up and see this image of the Hermit from a tarot card, a symbol for looking inward, for seeking truth. They were basically telling their fans the answers aren't on the surface, you have to dig. So instead of a title, you got these 4 strange symbols. Each band member picked one to represent himself. Robert Plant had the feather for truth. John Bonham, the interlocking circles for family. John Paul Jones, the triquetra for the cycles of life. And Jimmy Page had the most mysterious one of all, the Zozo Sigil. But even with all that, for more than 50 years, one of the biggest mysteries in rock history was still just hanging there. Who is that old man on the cover? The one with the bundle of sticks on his back? Well, believe it or not, we finally have an answer. Researchers just recently identified him as a man named Lot Long, a thatcher from the 1800s. And the reason they picked him is just brilliant.
You've got this image of the rural past, of nature on the front, and then you flip it over and you see these cold, soulless concrete skyscrapers. It's this powerful, silent statement about the modern world swallowing up the old one.
It's just so ironic, right? Here's this song that feels so profound, so almost spiritual to millions of people. And yet, its own history is completely tangled up in lawsuits, moral panics, and even arguments between the guys who wrote it.
This song has been a magnet for controversy from the start. First, back in the 80s, you had the whole satanic backmasking scare, people swearing they heard hidden messages if you played the record backward. And then, much more recently, in 2014, there was that massive lawsuit claiming the opening riff was stolen. Zeppelin won, but yeah, that stuff sticks.
But maybe the weirdest conflict of all is between the two guys who actually created it. Jimmy Page, to this day, will tell you it's the band's crown jewel, their defining moment. But Robert Plant, he grew to hate it. He famously called it a fucking wedding song. Can you imagine feeling trapped by your own greatest success? So put it all together, the unfolding music, the three secret symbols in the lyrics, and that super intentional artwork. It becomes so clear that nothing about Stairway to Heaven was an accident. It was all designed as one single, totally immersive, philosophical experience.
And that right there is why this song is still so huge. It's not just a piece of music. One scholar called it a contemplative cultural artifact, which is just the perfect way to put it. It doesn't give you the answers, it invites you to come in and find your own.
Which kind of leaves us with one last big question to chew on. Stairway was created in a time where mystery was part of the magic. But today, in our world of endless content and instant Google answers, could a song ever become this mysterious, this legendary, ever again? It's something to think about.